Hey minions, welcome to Crank It Up. I'm Jim Price, and on this episode of the Gauntlet, I want to talk about Mad Scientist Kitty Cats. For this week's videos, I asked the Facebook community whether they wanted to see unexpected combinations or rage quit inducing combos, and ironically I was surprised that they picked unexpected, because I thought for sure that rage quit would win. Out of all the combinations, this is the one that I've had to explain the most among my feedback panel. Nearly everyone has seen the combination and asked why, and then I explain it, and then they are on board. I absolutely, completely love this combination. It's probably my favorite kitty cats combination, and not one that most would ever think to try. In this 40 card game, you are never guaranteed to see particular cards without mass card draw or deck searching. It's a reality that makes several combinations theoretically strong, but inconsistent. But I often say that you need to draw something, and that there are a few bad cards, so if most of the cards mesh, you should be able to pull off your synergy. When I first discovered that this combination worked, I zeroed in on the double features, the actions you are most likely to draw. And for this team, I find that the double features suit exactly what the other team is looking for. The Mad Scientists bring power, and lots of it, but they also bring extra minion plays. Even better, they bring immunity to destruction, often packaged with power, in the case of Uber Serum. The kitty cats want to destroy minions to draw cards based on power, so the fact that the Mad Scientists can create high-powered minions that can survive the destruction is a perfect fit. But the Mad Scientists are slow, so having a double feature that slows down players helps their overall strategy. I think that the Mad Scientists have some incredibly satisfying payoffs that just need time and the right cards to fire, such as playing an extra minion every turn. They have no card draw, however. The kitty cats do draw cards, as I already mentioned. What this means in practice is that you are likely to see at least one copy of Uber Serum, which allows a minion to grow every turn and it cannot be destroyed. With Whiskers, this can mean playing an extra action every turn, and the Mad Scientists have great candidates. The combination works because the reward for destruction is not actually linked to its outcome. If the destruction is attempted and failed, that is all you need. In fact, Whiskers is worded in such a way that you can play the very action that saves the minion you would otherwise be destroying. As far as Mad Scientist actions, an immediate extra Uber Serum is fantastic if you have it. It's Alive is great to play in most scenarios. German Engineering is a fantastic action to lead with. You have no shortage of actions that can grant extra power. You also have Grave Situation as a backup situation in the rare event that you did not draw Uber Serum. While Grave Situation doesn't count as being destroyed, it does satisfy the requirement to destroy a minion, and as we will see later, having an extra card in hand is not necessarily the worst thing. I often feel like the extra plays of the Mad Scientists get overlooked, because Air Doctor and the Monster give you a free extra minion play anywhere. With the kitty cats, this can be brutal because Muffin lets you swing minions. Muffin is temporary in nature, which means that playing many of them at the same time is very meaningful. Using this combination, I have stolen a base entirely because I played many minions and went from having no minions and a strategic second place to having the base by myself. Granted, that's pretty hard to do, but even in the average case, adding 6 power and swinging 6 power is really powerful and lets you use other players' minions against them quite literally. But the team's greatest strength is that it gives the Mad Scientists some much needed card draw. At the same time, the kitty cats also need the card draw. Both of these factions put a lot of emphasis on their 4s and 5s working together. So creating an engine where you can draw cards and see those minions is crucial. It's fairly obvious how the 4s and 5s work together. Queen Fluffy steals a minion for Whiskers to destroy. The great thing about Mad Scientists is that their destruction immunity tends to be local at the minion level, outside of Grave Situation. That means that you could probably avoid sending back another player's minion to their hand, because you can choose what minion to control and what to destroy. The kitty cat abilities are global. Air Doctor combines with the Monster to give you an extra minion play every turn, but Air Doctor also increases the power of your minion to draw extra cards with Catfight. With this team, instead of destroying someone else's minions to draw cards, you may want to draw from your high-powered invulnerable minion. Between the Mad Scientist actions, Igors, and Lab Assistants, you should have a minion with a lot of power that a well-timed catfight can use to generate a lot of cards. Cards give you your engine, and your engine gives you your payoff, which is extremely satisfying. A fully formed engine results in 2 whiskers and an indestructible minion. Honestly, Queen Fluffy is just icing on the cake. It's all about the extra actions. Since both whiskers can target the same minion, you can play 3 actions in a turn every turn. There are a lot of good mid-game actions, including the kitty cat stall tactics. But the payoff, there are several ways you can play this. Feel free to rearrange the order as you see fit, but my usual order is that I will use Catfight on a high-powered minion to draw a lot of cards. I use Angry Mob to use those cards as currency in order to increase power, and then I Body Shop that minion to double the power output. The beauty of Body Shop is that it is the perfectly granular action. You can position the power exactly where you need it. This can mean that you can break multiple bases at the same time, as long as you have the right cards in hand and hold on to them. You can also lead with Angry Mob to get the power that will draw those cards back, using the extra minion plays from the monsters as additional power, since minion power is generally stronger than even the doubled output of Body Shop. But there are even better things that you can do. I'll admit that this is highly situational, and I never like to rely on specific bases, but I need to point out that this team gets a lot of support from its bases because it happens to me a lot. The Mad Scientists bring Standing Stones from their set, and the Kitty Cats bring Fairy Circle. This can potentially give you a 4th action, which allows you to change the order and use that mass card draw to your advantage. You can potentially Body Shop twice in one turn, because you can Body Shop, draw cards, potentially draw again if you need to reset your deck, and play Body Shop again. In fact, depending on the state of your deck, you can do something crazy, risky, and incredibly fun. Because Body Shop lets you distribute the counters as you see fit, you are under no compulsion to give them to your indestructible minion. So you could actually create a 2-turn Body Shop combo by top-decking yourself into Body Shop again. The way this works is that you exhaust your deck so you have no discard pile. Actions you play this turn and whatever scores will be the only thing that goes into your discard pile. Based on the order of events, you draw first and then discard. This means that all the cards you just discarded are not in the discard pile at the time your empty deck was reshuffled. And because Body Shop can give all those counters to a single minion, it's really possible that you could have a very small deck and effectively guarantee yourself access to the very actions you need next turn, particularly if you hold on to that refreshed other copy of Catfight. Basically, at one point over the course of the game, this team becomes a giant math problem for me to solve, where I look at the state of the deck, the playing field, and my hand, and decide what permutation of those key cards is the right play, and over how many turns. Admittedly, I usually just break multiple bases at the same time and call it a day, but I have actually top-decked myself into breaking an absurd number of bases over 2 turns. The risk is that another player will throw everything they have to disrupt your engine, but even that can be a good consolation prize, as I love winning bases on opponent turns, particularly if they play just a 3, and I end up seizing control of it. With this team, I do everything I can to draw cards. Cool Cat's Alley for Igors serves both functions, drawing an extra card and generating an extra counter for a future card. Knowing when to play that first cat fight is so crucial. Having the kitty cat stall really helps, as you can thwart their attempts to ruin your engine. Extra minion plays are actually really good for Mr. Grumpers, as they can team up to destroy a high-powered minion. Blitz can actually destroy a 0-powered minion without removing any counters, because it can be equal to the number of counters you removed. The final thing that I love about this combination is that, even if you don't pull off your Uber engine, you still have 2 great independent engines. Boosted catfights should at least allow you to draw something, and either having the Mad Scientist engine or the Queen Fluffy engine is fantastic. So while the ceiling is crazy high, the floor isn't necessarily low. You would need a really bad draw to prevent this from getting started in some respects. But like all teams, there are weaknesses. Uber Serum can prevent destruction, but disruption via other mechanics can eat this team alive. It relies on growing a singularly powerful minion, so if that minion were to disappear, your engine suffers significantly. You can create a less powerful 3-action play more quickly, taking a chance that you can do it again to mitigate this, but I wouldn't like this combo against disruption factions. If you could take out a Whiskers or 2, this faction loses a lot of their power. Movement is also particularly powerful. This combination has to spread out, particularly if they want to leave some of their minions out from turn to turn, so a faction that can swarm opposing minions is very powerful because you end up overspending on a base and losing your engine. This combination still has some plays that they can make until your engine gets going, and the kitty cats love to play from behind, but you have to anticipate every threat to your engine because this combination is relying on it. It won't do anything big in the early game without the right draw, and this team is relying on the game getting to the middle phase in order to really get going. Finally, because this combination relies on having particular cards in your hand together, they are weak against hand manipulation teams. I haven't played this team against Russian Fairy Tales, but a card like Mass Transformation can be particularly brutal. But the ceiling on this team is crazy high. Despite not liking them against aliens, this combination did beat Star Roaming Aliens in an exhibition match. I am so happy it worked out that I got to pair these two together because I've always loved them and they feel like one of my personal secret combinations. Now I get to share them with everyone on the highest stage possible. What do you think of Mad Scientist Kitty Cats? Let me know in the comments. That's it for this team. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. Let's shut it down.